I don't know why the sound. I got to figure that out. Welcome to Drop Frames. Oh shit. Let me go ahead and fix that real quick. He'll never know the difference because he's not here. So, you know. There we go. There we go. It's fine.
Got called away at the last second there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, my bad. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, real quick.
Okay.
So Barry can change the stream title.
Correct.
He can stream to all of our channels.
Correct. Well, no, he has no control over that. We've separated the powers. It's just like the U.S. government.
Okay.
There's checks and balances, except for me.
Okay.
Just like the U.S. government.
My question is, he can change the stream title, but can he change the push notification?
Because that I don't believe he can.
My go live notification still says what it would say like before.
Yeah. I don't know. Why don't we get Barry on here in 2 weeks and ask him? Barry, you want to come on the show? He says, no, fuck you, Twitch. All right. Well, Barry, you can't be saying that. You can't. Come on now, Barry. Now we can't invite you on the show.
Do the thing, JP. Do the disclaimer.
Oh, the disclaimer? Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me... Oh, man, you're really putting me on the spot here. Okay. I'll turn it up so you guys can hear it as well. All right. This stream is not held accountable for any false beliefs put forth by person or persons on the channel. It is for entertainment purposes only. I mean, we're covered. It says persons or persons on the channel. Technically, Barry was in my chat when he said that. We're covered. We're good. We're good to go. We're good.
For entertainment purposes only.
Yes. Yeah. Barry's just part of the goof. That's how it is. Joining us for more goofs this week, it's Strippin. How's it going, Strippin?
Yo, what's up?
How's London town? What's it like over there? Are you safe? Are you staying inside? Are you washing your hands?
It's pretty corona'd, man.
Yeah.
To be honest. Yeah.
Just sprinkled everywhere. They just,
I couldn't tell you what England is like because I haven't left my house. In like 2 weeks.
Good man.
That's a good answer. That's the correct. It's probably the only correct answer. Is I don't know what it's like outside. I've
seen a couple of delivery guys. They kind of approach and then they leave the food up halfway up the driveway.
Yeah.
And last night I opened the door and he did not want that.
Oh, why would you do that? You got to wait for him to walk away.
He was 20 feet away. I thought it would be fine. And he was like, whoa. Close the door. And I was like, okay. So I just kind of like,
wait, this is my house.
The door. He had mask and gloves on and he put stuff down and he's running up the driveway and then, had to wait.
Oh, God. What'd you order? What was the food order? What'd you get?
I just got a burger and fries.
Okay. Keeping it simple. Is it called a burger and fries over there? Is that the London term?
Burger and chips.
Right.
Chips, we call them.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad I clarified.
And chips are crisp?
No, crisp or not chips.
Chips American chips are crisp. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Chips.
Yes. Yeah. Crisp.
Your chips are crisps. Your fries are chips. We also have fries, but fries are the little skinny ones.
You got like steak fries is like what you call chips, right?
Yeah. Chips. Chunky ones.
Okay.
Chips.
And then I think the male genitalia is like bangers and mash, right?
Yeah. Also, it's breakfast because everyone eats dick over there.
Body dick.
Yeah. Let's, one more time there. Let's go ahead and just. This stream is not helping.
I didn't realize this is what the show was going to be. So.
All right. Woo.
Wow, an entire country. Good job, JP. Man.
Yeah.
Usually you leave it to specific.
I'm really building up foreign relations here. I'm glad that the U.S. has designated me as the
video games.
Yeah. Thanks, Cal. Thanks for saving us. That's how. Woo. Speaking of video games, got a question. We're all bearded men. What's the plan here? What are you doing? Are you handling it yourself?
I'm not handling it.
Well, Strippin, you've given up years ago. It looks like. What else?
Now that I'm looking at it, I think that I'll be pulling a Strippin most likely. My plan was to because this is the first time I've grown my hair out in like 4 or 5 years. I normally just buzz my head all the time.
Yeah.
And then the virus happened and I was like, I'm gonna have to buzz my head again so I won't be able to get haircuts and stuff. But after I put up a tweet basically saying that, and a lot of people were like, no, just grow your hair out. It's fine. We all look ridiculous. So if anything, I guess this is the time, right? So I think I'm going to be going for it. This is probably at 30, almost 36, and a half brother who started balding significantly earlier, this is like my last hurrah, I think, before it all starts falling out. So if we're gonna do it, you got to make it happen. I think that's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you at? Are you just letting it grow out, and then you're gonna? I mean, you change your hair pretty frequently, and you mostly take care of it yourself. Yeah. So you're this is business as usual.
Yeah, I find random people to like dye it or cut it, shave it, whatever. I do like from the neck up.
Yeah.
It's all like charity events.
Business
like, whatever,
from neck
like,
down. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's charity, neck up, business, all business from the neck down.
Right.
But
Nice.
no, I wanted to ask Strippin, like, do you have hair here and it's just like blonde, or is it just not as?
I don't get any.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little similar.
I was curious if it was a blonde or if it was a choice or something like that.
Oh, like I Hulk Hogan'd it? No, dude, no, there's nothing there.
Hey, don't bag on the Hulk Hogan look. It worked for me for a little while.
Look, here's my threat is that the world is in peril, right? And if religion is real, Jesus will come down and he will look for a suitable vessel, and I will get powers. That's where I'm at. So
put your hat back on. I used to have hair like that.
Yeah, I mean, it could work.
It might work full out. And it used to appear right here.
Yeah,
like now it doesn't.
Well, life comes at you fast, Zeke. You got to get used to it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. Anyways, let's talk about games and streaming and get off the beard talk for some reason. I guess we can talk about some of this late breaking news. People are streaming Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and Square is saying don't do it, and DMCA people.
People were streaming it.
Yes, were streaming. That's a proper term.
Because their channels were taken down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting thing. Because like it's not that they're obtaining copies from like mom and pop shops in Australia, is my understanding. They're legally selling it in Australia, but you can't stream it.
Yeah.
Because I think the idea is that Square's wanting everyone to wait till the 10th when the game releases globally.
I don't know
they're
if
selling it.
Think they were up.
Go ahead.
They're selling it digitally,
physically,
or they're selling physical copies.
Yes, in
only
Australia.
physical. In a few select areas, and I don't know if it was out before. Some people are saying it was out earlier, but honestly, I will say if it was, I completely missed it, and I usually find this stuff. But on the Square website, there is a thing that says you can't stream it until the 10th. It does straight up say like there is a content, like we have put a content hold on streaming our game until the 10th, and no one can do it. But to be fair to the people that have gotten DMCA'd and had their channel taken down, which by the way, they're pretty much all back tomorrow from what we understand.
24 hours, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even know it existed until all this stuff started happening. So they did release a letter when they were announcing that these copies were going out early. And they basically said something along the lines of, we'd appreciate if you don't spoil or talk about the content. But that language is a lot different from, we will DMCA you if you do it.
Yeah.
So I will say that I think
that was for the general public, right? Address.
Hear about that.
Yeah, I think it was Strippin. Yeah, it's the type of thing where like Atlas is out there, saying we will DMCA you. And Square's like, please don't stream it. We're not going to tell you what happens if you do. They should probably be a little bit more clear with that. If that,
there should not have been a please in there. It should have been like, do not stream our game. We will DMCA you if you try to.
Well,
like, we're releasing it early, but don't stream it. Like they should have been super clear about that before throwing those things out.
Yeah. Yeah. The funny part, Atlas never even did anything to begin with. So they were
They're doing
chicken.
the same thing for Royale.
Yeah, they are. They were playing chicken and streamers won. Square played chicken without letting you know that you're playing chicken and then just banned you. So yeah.
Isn't that always nice when you're playing a game with somebody else and you don't know it?
Right. Yes.
And suddenly out of nowhere they're like, checkmate. And you're like, what? Were we what check what? Were we playing?
That's how it goes. You gotta be careful. So yeah, there's not much news other than that. I think everyone.
I will say a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's a remake, but it's not. It's not a remake.
What do you mean?
It's not. It's a like you take the elements of Final Fantasy 7 and they occur like once every 6 hours in an otherwise completely new game. Like,
yeah.
There's
not only
so
that,
much. It's not a remake.
it's not really fair calling it a remake when it's like a quarter of the original. Like it should have been called like Final Fantasy VII Remake Lite. Like it's kind of, and we've had this discussion actually on the show before, where it's kind of like they appended no extra words to the title, so they're marketing it like if you had not heard of the remake project, somehow it happens, and then you were to see Final Fantasy VII Remake and then buy it, and then all of a sudden the game ends a quarter of the way through, and you're like, where's the rest of it? Well, there is no like episode 1 or part 1 or Final Fantasy VII Remake Midgard. You know, like there's nothing in the title to indicate what the next one is going to be called, if there's going to be a next one. I mean, you know, at this point they haven't even confirmed anything. They're saying there's going to be, but who freaking knows? So it's a really weird situation that, again, going back to them, Square Enix should have handled that a lot better. Like it's kind of weird how they keep kind of like dropping the PR ball on this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think I'm allowed. There is another one. There's another one coming after this.
Well, I think they've gone as far as saying like that it will happen, just not a name or anything like that. So, yeah.
But they have to differentiate it. So
they do.
Be like Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2.
The reason they haven't said a name is because who knows? They don't know any idea. Yeah.
They named the first one so fucking poorly. They're probably still on the drawing board.
Yeah. We'll see. Some other news. Go ahead.
They've never shied away from having strangely long and confusing titles.
You know, you're right. Yeah. Final Fantasy. There's some weird
X3 Tactics remastered.
Yeah.
What am I playing?
That's a pretty tame one too. There's Brave Exidius, Amadeus, the 12th.
Stop it! You'll conjure the dark one.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to summon him. I don't want to. It's already rough out there right now, as is. Yeah, and then speaking of other remasters and remakes, Resident Evil 3 comes out this week, and apparently it's only like 6 to 7 hours long, and that's
on
it. On hard. Yeah. Which the original game, let's be clear, was not long as well. It was about that time.
I missed the first part. What are we talking? What game?
Resident Evil 3.
Resident Evil 3.
The remake. Okay. That comes out Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
I played the demo of it. It was 20 minutes. Granted, apparently I rushed, but the demo was like, I felt like I didn't do anything in that game. And the demo was over. Granted, it is a demo, so I guess I was kind of expecting that without expecting that. But that comes out Friday. I think most people that there's been a lot of people streaming it, but it's like the multiplayer beta or something that's being streamed right now, which is another component of the game. So I don't know if people are streaming the actual full campaign of it yet, or if they got early access to it or what. So I guess we'll see how that goes over the next couple of days. Very pretty game. Probably one of I think I told Ko it's like one of the best looking games that I can recall in recent memory. I guess I can pull up the video just to show that real quick if I can find the VOD. But I'm curious, like, are you guys super hyped about Resident Evil 3, or where are you at on hype levels for it?
I really enjoyed 1 and 2 remake, so I'm pretty excited for it, man. Pretty excited for it. Yeah.
I'm more hyped for that than I was for Alex or Doom or anything like that.
Really?
It's more in my wheelhouse for sure.
Okay.
Like Doom is a first person shooter. It's great and all, but it's still an FPS, and that's not like really where my enjoyment in video games lies. There we go. You can put him back in there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, story-based horror game, and judging by how fucking good and fun RE2 remake was, like if this one's like near to as good, it'll be fantastic.
Yeah,
so
it looks really good. This is the PC version with, I think, everything maxed out. I think it was like 70 to 100 plus FPS. Gorgeous looking game for sure.
And you said it's short. How long was RE2?
I was trying to think about that. It was like 10 plus hours, right? Because you played.
I don't know. I fucked around so much.
I think it was about 12 to 16 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
You did like the other parts too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for this. I'm just disappointed that they like haven't gone the extra mile to justify the price point.
It's a $60 game. That's a big deal.
Yeah. It's a lot of money. for 7 hours of content, 8 hours of content.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
Does it have the lines like A and B, A and B for
it's
two
just
different
one
characters?
playthrough. There's no,
is
there's
it?
very little
alternate,
replayability.
yeah, there's no alternate routes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. They could have maybe like done some extra stuff.
I think that the PR spin that they'll try to do is that they packaged in like this resistance multiplayer thing with it, and so that's what they're trying to say. Like, you know, you get the campaign, but that's only half the game. There's also the whole multiplayer aspect of it. So, and I've seen people play it. I don't know. I didn't stick around long enough to see if they enjoyed it. I think there were some server issues. I don't know if that was because people had a hard time playing it or just weren't playing the beta. But I think I saw like Anthony Kong fan jumping in there, and Lyric and the Night Crew were also playing, but I can't comment on the actual quality of it or anything like that. But
it's one of those games where it's so short, I wouldn't even want to play the demo.
Yeah, well, I said I played 20 minutes, and that's a fraction of the game essentially. Right?
Yeah, this is a chunk of it.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, that'll come out Friday. I might see some people stream it Thursday. I haven't seen any early access or embargoes or anything like that on my end. So we'll see, and we'll probably talk about it next week. And then we'll probably be getting ready for Final Fantasy VII Remake as well next week. But let's talk about games that came out this week, right after Ko brings up his point. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what's the big remake, or what's the big release after Remake?
There is not one for a while. The Last of Us, I think, is the next big game. Because Wasteland 3 got
Cyberpunk,
delayed.
Right? And then it got pushed.
Yeah, and
Wasteland got pushed.
Wasteland
2 got pushed.
3.
It's now in August. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wasteland 3 is now in August.
Yeah.
Trials of Mana?
Yeah, I think that's coming out. It's not necessarily a big release.
No.
Gears Tactics.
Be fun co-op though.
Gears Tactics there was a bunch of preview coverage of that came out this past week. It actually looks pretty good. It looks pretty fun.
Minecraft Dungeons?
Yeah, me and Strippin, I guess we can talk about that. We jumped into some Minecraft Dungeons. Strippin is the non-ARPG, or I guess non-PoE player. Where are you at with Minecraft Dungeons? I'll pull up some footage real quick, show it off.
I loved it. It was a functioning beta, firstly, so thumbs up.
Big props.
Yeah, it was super sleek, like very simple but like enjoyable. There was a lot more depth than we initially thought there was once we started getting into towards the end of our playthrough, and we'd done like 5 or 6 missions, and we started like trying to reroll stats, and yeah, it was cool. I got like 5 legendary weapons. You got none. So
yeah, I don't know how that worked out.
Good.
That was really unfortunate. That was the case. I didn't understand that at all. I think this game will do. I think it's going to do well regardless because of the fact that it's a Minecraft game, and that alone will have the masses flock to it.
Yeah, I think the aesthetics has a great appeal. The enchantments that you can get on your weapons are literally the enchantments from Minecraft. So it's going to be really easy for people to just like already understand what they're trying to get, what they're looking for.
Yeah, you already had kind of a leg up on me in that regard because I didn't. They explain what they are right next to it, but you understood it.
I did not.
Oh, you didn't? You're not the Minecraft pro that I thought.
That's a fake public image. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe the worst Minecraft player that ever lived.
Okay. All right. Noted. I guess to explain a little bit of what's going on here, and it's definitely a simplified ARPG, but it does have some like hidden depth to it. There's 3 equipable items and 3 artifacts. Artifacts are kind of like on use items. They had a pretty good selection of those. Certain things like Strippin's one right here in this video footage is a firecracker that makes your right click, which is a bow, explode on hit and does like AoE damage. The second one is a fishing rod, which is effectively the barbarian pull from Diablo 3. So you can kind of like pull mobs to you and it stuns for a little bit. And then what was the mushroom doing, Sam? I don't think I ever picked up the mushroom.
Gives you 30% attack speed and 30% movement speed.
Okay. All right. I had some other ones like movement speed boots that were just kind of like an on-use dash type ability. And then you have
that was
potion.
The firework right there.
Yeah. You have potion. Everyone's got a potion with cooldown on it. Left click is attack. Right click is your arrow or your bow and arrow. How many weapon types? 5 or 6? It was kind of everything that's in Minecraft, I think. But
yeah, so they take like all the tools are also weapons. So pickaxe, shovel, axe are all weapon types. You've got sword, great sword. You had the scythes, scythes.
Yeah.
And obviously they've got the bows, long bows. There was a lot more than we thought there'd be. And then obviously all those they're different. And the way it works is you don't gain levels. You gain in these weird enchantment levels. So every time you level up, you can basically like put a skill upgrade into the weapon you have. And all the weapons have random skills. So that's like the replayability factor. Yeah. So we open chests, you try and find weapons. You find weapons with skills you like, and then you invest your level up points into them. And then once you decide you don't like that weapon anymore, you can just disenchant it. You get all your levels back, and you can put them into a new weapon. So it was super easy to just pick up like the next weapon, immediately level it up, and keep playing. There wasn't really any grind in that element. I think at the end we both had like those swords that hit 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, we had like unique swords that had an echo effect on them, which is I guess a Minecraft term for like double attack, essentially like double strike. And so it was just doing a shit ton of damage, and we'd walk up and just kind of explode things right out of the gate.
Yeah, once we ramped the difficulty up, it was surprisingly challenging, to be honest. We were getting
and it's not
the bosses were really good too.
Yeah, it's not brain dead in the sense that you can just walk up and like left click enemies, although that's kind of what you're seeing here. Whenever you see a creeper, the one time or the multiple times that we died, the creepers are in there and they explode just like they do in Minecraft, I think.
I think if you jump towards the end of our session, it was getting a bit hairy there because you ramped it all the way up.
This is the camp.
About 3 hours, I think.
Yeah, this is towards the end right here. In fact, this might be the actual end of the mission. But yeah, we're much faster and yeah.
Yeah. Are you a no cam streamer always?
No, I have been for like a month or two because Dodger keeps stealing my webcam.
One camera household.
Yeah. Good reason.
Yeah, I don't mind. I think when I'm playing stuff like Resident Evil, there's definitely like a benefit to having the camera, but a lot of the games I play, especially like the role play stuff, I don't think there's too much of a need for it.
Do you look in the mirror? Because I think you're burying the lead here.
No, I don't.
I mean, I would tune in just to look at your face.
That's the old me. Yeah, but then I would have to like shower and stuff, and God, there's a bunch of work.
Trust me, you don't.
It's true. You don't necessarily have to.
There are ways to mask that. In fact, you haven't.
Oh, this might be the boss actually, JP. Here.
Oh yeah, we might die like 5 or 6 times here. I think it is. I found this very interesting when I streamed it because I got about 4 to 5 times my normal viewership, and I think that just speaks to how big this game could potentially be. Simply because of the fact that like everyone that was there were Minecraft people, and they were the first time visiting the channel. So that alone, like if you get a Minecraft YouTuber or a Minecraft streamer creating content in this game, you're going to see a lot of viewers, I think, for this. It'll kind of be like the Animal Crossing effect, I would think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's a huge group of Minecraft players, and their love for Minecraft is in the combat system.
Yeah,
and it's just replicated in this game.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. And it's well made. Like it's very little to knock on this game. Like the beta worked. We've had like maybe 1 or 2 bugs that were mouse related that might have been, our configuration and not necessarily.
So this is an actual like mini boss called the Evoker, and they get their own music, and he summons ads, and he does AOE spells and all this kind of stuff. So we bumped into him, we got rocked quite a bit. There's definitely like an element of difficulty, and you can ramp it as hard as you want it to be as well.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't think there's an actual release date on this just yet, although I think they've been teasing something in May. So this might be, we kind of stumbled on this the conversation of what's the next big game. This might be one of the bigger releases right after Final Fantasy 7 Remake in early May before Last of Us at the end of May. But yeah, I'll probably jump back into it. I think Strippin's planning to it. I would like to see the full game. I think we played 3 missions, and then there was 7 more main missions with 2 different difficulties after you complete the missions.
Yeah, we did 7 missions or 5 missions, and there were 7 left, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's like 4 difficulties, and it took us about 3 hours to get through it. So probably about 6 hours to beat the game, I'd say, and then you replay it on a harder difficulty.
Yeah.
It says Minecraft Dungeons launching May 26th, and that's from Minecraft.net. So
okay, that must be new.
Cool.
That's 3 days before Last of Us. Great, thanks for that, guys. Really appreciate when you stack fucking games in an entire month. Whatever. I guess it doesn't matter. There's not much we could do. But
did any of you guys try Last Oasis?
No, I think you're the only one.
This is a super interesting conundrum in Last Oasis Town. Is that game came out about 5 days ago.
Yeah.
On launch day, about 8 hours in, they started to have really bad errors with their login gates, and so they went down for maintenance. And they had to make a statement a couple of days ago to say the game was going offline permanently for 7 days. Basically, the issues they found was so bad that they've had to suspend their own launch. So I think the game is supposed to come back in about 3 days, but it was like very highly anticipated. Credit to them, they offered a full refund to anyone who was unhappy and wanted their money back, kind of situation.
Was it on Steam? So it was just like a Steam refund?
It was on Steam, yeah. And they basically just said, like, you know, the age old, way more players bought the game than they anticipated. The server couldn't handle the load, and then they encountered a really bad error.
Which, yeah, and yeah, I think you've mentioned about like these early access games, so I'm stealing from that. But essentially, it's the same people playing these games every time they come out, right? It's like that same large mass of people looking for the next early access sandbox game that just crashed the servers, right? Like,
it's happened like 5 times in the last few years.
Yeah.
You can watch me for a good minute here, try and smash one pot. Yeah, good.
Nice. Yeah, they're like bugs galore, right? Like the games are never finished.
Yeah. Oh, this game is very fun, but it is as early access as you can get. Do you know what I mean? And people, I guess, don't care, and they just want the next big thing. This game was very PvP heavy as well, which people liked. It was like it brought over the Rust community and, you know, the Black Desert community, and just a lot of PvP guilds. And they do that thing where there's kind of no upward limit. But the way the game works is you have these oases that are generated. And the lore's kind of cool. The lore is basically that the planet has stopped turning. And so the side of the planet facing the sun just gets incinerated. And so they have these oases, but the planet is moving very slowly. And so basically every oasis is only around for 4 days. And after 4 days, it gets incinerated by the sun. So every player has to keep moving right across the world.
Oh.
You can't set up a base or anything. You have to basically like build these ships and keep your base on the ships and have like a fleet of ships. And you have to constantly move. And if you stop moving, then all your stuff will get destroyed.
Huh. That's kind of a cool
concept. Kind of cool in that regard. The only problem was, as soon as the gates broke that let people change zones, the concept stopped working altogether. So they had to take the game down for 7 days.
Oh, so wait, people were just dying? Like their hours upon hours were just being incinerated?
People were all trapped in these zones. Yeah, the sun was approaching. The countdown was counting down, and they couldn't change zones because it was busted. So they had to take it down. Otherwise, everyone would have got
that. Really sucked.
By the sun.
Did you? How's the driving in this game, Strippin? I just watched you tip over. How's that going?
Well, this is like the starter ship. It's called the Firefly, but eventually you end up with like 50-foot high ships with sails and 20 people manning a crew and cannons and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely like a large scale PvP game. You definitely need like a community to play with. I think a lot of people I know, including myself, tried to play alone and we just got dumpstered.
Are all the big ships like? Do they walk like animals and stuff like that too?
Yeah, they're like sand walkers. So it's a lot of people said
now
it
that's
kind of reminds me,
cool,
like,
man.
It is cool. It is cool. Like the actual design of the game is cool, but it's very much like I don't know if you guys tried Atlas, but it feels just like a pirate game on sand. So yeah.
Who makes Last Oasis?
It is. Let me double check. Donkey Crew.
You know, the famed developers Donkey Crew. Everyone knows them.
I think they made something else too. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Another.
I think I saw like a expo of theirs in Mexico once.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
I don't know.
It originated as a team of modders from the Mount & Blade community. So actually, One of the appeals to it is it has the same combat as Mount and Blade, the kind of blocking left, right, up system.
Yeah.
And the attacking system. So the combat was cool. It was very early access, but we'll see if the game survives because 9 days of downtime after launch day.
Yeah.
Gonna be rough.
Well, we'll see. I mean, if it's supposed to come back, what you said, 3 days left, so this weekend.
3 days before Final Fantasy.
Oh, 3 days before Final Fantasy. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I would imagine Final Fantasy.
Do they allow private servers?
Dwarf all that.
Not yet. There's only public servers currently, but they do have plans for private servers. They just don't exist yet.
Yeah. Arc had private servers, right? But they were like,
I think a private. Yeah, it did. I think private servers would be really fun with a community.
Yeah.
But the public ones were kind of terrifying.
Is there any like player versus the world kind of stuff? Like, are there any like big raid encounters or NPC stuff like that?
Yeah, there's so there's 3 difficulties of zones, and every few days a zone with 3-star difficulty will open up, and you're watching like this is the first signs that the servers were malfunctioning. JP, they just started getting errors over and over again.
Nice.
But there's stuff like there's like 50-foot crab monsters that will tear your ships apart, and you have to like fight them as a group and stuff like that. And we were in a large scale PvP. We were in a large scale PvP fight, and a crab rolled up on both sides and just started tossing ships around and stuff like that. So, I mean, the concept is really cool. I'd be interested to see what they do with it. I'm also a little bit worried about like their budget to finish their game if they have to issue all these refunds with 9 days downtime. So, we'll see.
What I remember, I joined your stream while you were playing this for 5 minutes, and you were playing the SpiderMan music and swinging around in the trees. What was going on there?
Everyone gets a grappling hook. That's kind of the way you the PvP works, and you can grappling hook onto ships and around. We got attacked by a guy who was, quite frankly, some kind of superhero. He like 1v8. He killed our whole team.
Yeah.
And then when you get downed, people can grab you. And he grabbed me and he kidnapped me. And he started swinging through the trees at such speed and grace that I could only call him Peter Parker. And playing the SpiderMan music. And he took me on a ride for like an hour.
Okay.
So
he became
his
king.
Yeah.
He was.
And then I tried to
grab South Park. That dude, like.
Yeah. But in game, he was, a golden god. And I tried to replicate. I tried to learn what he had taught me, and it was just an hour of me like face planting at max speed on a grappling hook and dying before I gave up.
Okay. All right. You got to play when the servers come back up?
I'll try it. All the enemies in the game are these rupus, these monkeys.
Oh,
and,
okay.
They're pretty strong.
I thought that was another player. That was like a...
No, that wasn't... That might look like a regular enemy, but trust me, that was a really hard boss that no one has been able to beat. Right there. So...
Oh, yeah. You almost got him, too, man. That's...
I was really close, yeah. I was maybe the closest out of everyone.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, if you could turn off the VOD now, that'd be good.
Okay, all right, yeah, let's that's Last Oasis. Jeez.
That's still in like super early access, super beta, or super
very early access PvP game, just came out. I think like Rust when it very first started.
Okay.
So,
and everybody, and it's not like closed beta, everyone can play it.
Everyone can play it. It was out on Steam. It was pretty popular. There was a lot of traction, but we'll see if it recovers 9 days of downtime.
We'll see.
Do you know how much is it? How much it is? I can look it up, but if you got it offhand.
I think it's $20.
That's not too bad. If it was like $40, I could see that being it's a big issue regardless, but
$24.89 it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's accessible.
Yeah, on sale right now.
Yeah.
For today, for 24 hours, apparently.
Gotcha.
It's normally 30.
On sale while the servers are down. Yep.
Yeah. There you go.
That's good marketing.
That's true.
You're feeling risky.
Yeah, buy a game that you can't play for another 3 days.
Pay $5 if you're feeling risky.
Yeah.
Might never come back up, but we'll see.
We'll see. I did want to, we were talking about earlier about kind of Square Enix and different things that are happening in the streaming world. Twitch pushed out a lot of updates, one of them being Mod View. We'll jump to that in just a sec. I wanted to see what you guys thought of this, what Valorant is doing. Valorant is the new Riot Games, League of Legends devs,
Is it
FPS.
Valorant or Valorant?
I think it's Valorant. I think I'm saying it wrong.
Okay.
But that's fine. I'll always say it wrong now that I've said it once.
Leviosa.
Yeah. So effectively what they're doing, because I'm not sure if all of you are aware of it, this past weekend, a set of streamers, I don't know how they were chosen or what the parameters were. They were given access to it on Saturday and Sunday, but they couldn't stream it, but they could capture it. So they could locally record. So, giant streamers, Summit, Tim, they all basically took the weekend off effectively to play this game locally and play it with other people and capture it. And the idea is, the content plan is, for all these people, is on Friday when this embargo goes away, everyone's able to share their locally recorded footage, their VODs, live on stream. I think also there was a Twitch Rivals tournament that was recorded in real time that's going to play this next weekend. And the whole gimmick around all of this is the only way to get access to this game is by watching Twitch streams and getting Twitch drops. It's kind of the first of this kind of marketing thing. I've never really seen this, especially for a game as big as like the next Riot Games game. So I'm curious what you guys think of this. Like, it's going to inflate the fuck out of viewers for that game entirely across the platform.
Say that again. I want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Okay. All right. What part specifically? All of it?
They have to watch to get what?
To get access to the game. That's the only way to get access to the game is to watch streams.
Apparently follow Slasher on Twitter.
Yeah. Also, if you know Slasher, he can get you in. That's also how that works. But yeah,
So
basically it's Twitch drops, but the drops are access to the game. You have to make sure your Riot account is linked with Twitch and watch streams that are streaming their VOD footage from this past weekend. The whole thing
link
just
your
seems
Riot
weird.
account, your Twitch account, and then after like X amount of hours of watching the stream, a stream of this game, you get the game.
Potentially.
Yeah, and
You have-
the
yeah, you
first
have to
part
watch
is
the play.
done frequently. A lot of times companies will normally they fly people out. They'll give them a behind closed doors look they can't talk about or anything, but they can bring like hard drives and stuff and
Right.
record, and then they can do like a big release later. That part's normal. But the part that is super out there is this apparently it's going to be crazy RNG. You're going to have a Twitch account. This is the first time I've heard of that. That's wild, man.
It's kind of the
wild.
evolution of like what Warframe, I guess, essentially started. I mean, a bunch of companies, but Warframe comes to mind first with like getting drops for in-game loot. This is getting drops to play the game.
I'm sorry. To access the beta, not the game. It's the beta.
Yes.
The game is not out yet.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the beta right now.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm curious to see. I think you'll see that game spike into like 1 million plus viewers on Twitch this weekend, simply because everyone's going to be idling streams to try to get access to that thing. I mean, Riot Games / League of Legends has been at the top of Twitch for seemingly a decade now, so it's kind of installed, and their fans know that Twitch is the place to be if you want to watch League of Legends content. They've had multiple streamers be the top streamer for that year or whatever. I'm just curious to see how that all breaks down, and also if Twitch buckles under the server load potentially from this weekend, because that's a lot. I also wonder if the giveaway process, whatever the like dev side of that, breaks, because that would really suck if the entire way to get access to this game just buckles under the pressure of however many people are trying to get access to it.
It also really sucks for the portion of people that actually have to watch Twitch on capped systems. So like when you have a data cap, like that's gonna, like, you basically like have to blow your cap up to get a chance, and you may not even have a chance. And I mean, if as many people are watching as we're thinking, I mean, the more people watching, the less your chance is actually going to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be,
yeah,
that's rough, man.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that it's going to be like hooked up, like you connect your account, your Riot account, your Twitch account, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it will be like just deposited into your Riot account rather than like having them give you a fucking game key and being able to sell that shit, right?
Oh yeah, I had not even like thought about this aftermarket thing. I would assume yes, that's how it's going to work.
Okay. Okay, good.
It's
Good.
probably tied to
And
your
it
account.
wouldn't be able to be. It'll probably just be account locked.
Yeah.
But also, it's going to be interesting to see like how many people don't, because they made some serious changes to how viewers count in streams when they did that big push with the follow for follow and lurk for lurk stuff, which they basically like made it so you kind of only have a primary stream no matter how many streams you have open, so you don't count as viewers in all of those. I'm assuming that also means that you having multiple streams up will not actually influence your chances at entry. But seeing how many people actually know that and and do that kind of thing, it's going to be it'll be real. It'll be real.
Yeah, that was the other thing that was my next question was like, can I just like set up my PC, my laptop, my iPad and whatever with different accounts and then try and up my chances of getting it?
I believe
that's what viewbots will do.
Well, I think from the lurk for lurk changes, you have to actually be behind like they set up a lot more gates. I don't know exactly what the gates are, but you can't just have like a bunch of Twitch accounts logged in and like behind, I think, one IP address. I think you have to be under different IPs or something similar. But yeah, they put in a lot more restrictions for that stuff. So
you could definitely viewbot beta access though.
Potentially. I mean, essentially the whole thing's a viewbot, right? Like they're viewbotting their own game as a marketing platform. Essentially, like there's, and that's fine. Other games have done it. Yeah.
Drops have just like proved to be so successful from a marketing standpoint for any game. You look at like Warframe and then Tarkov, and games have exploded and stayed big just from like one drop campaign.
Totally.
You can't blame them for like trying to take this approach. Just a bit weird to put beta access behind it. I mean, I guess it's great for the people that will be showing footage and playing the game.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like the people that were given access to capture this stuff are going to have a great weekend in terms of viewership.
They don't even have to fucking be there as the VOD.
No, they could just run the VOD, right?
Have some beers on the yacht, baby.
Yeah.
When Legends of Runeterra happened,
30K, dude.
Yep.
What were we gonna say, Co? About I saw Legends of
Runeterra. They did a big push to a similar thing, and funny enough, he's not on the platform anymore. He got bought by Facebook. But Disguised Toast, he just ran 24-hour VODs to 30K people, so they would have chances to enter. Like for days, he was just sitting at the top of the directory, like wasn't even there. Just farming follows and views, and
funny.
Twitch apparently didn't care at all. Like they've kind of moved past that. Now that they basically allow embedding, which is essentially like what used to be called like legal view botting. Like that's just a thing on Twitch now. Like lots of big web pages do it, and they've made it very clear they're not going to change it because I'm sure Twitch loves the ad revenue. So it's kind of like, that's kind of where we are now. Yeah, that's the new.
It's weird to think like. Right? What was that, Strippin?
That's how Fextra Life does it, right? They just
yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of different streamers for sure that get embedded on different wikis and stuff like that. What were we gonna say, Zeke?
It's just strange to think like the streamer isn't there, and neither are probably the viewers. Like most of the viewers for the lion's share, they're just like this mass of just PCs that are on. Like that's it. It's robots watching robots.
The only people getting screwed, despite the real streamers underneath those people that are getting their screwed, the only real people that are getting screwed by that are the advertisers. Because that Twitch isn't adjusting how much they charge for ads on that stuff. And there are tens of thousands of ads going out from all the new people tuning in. So, I mean, at that point, it's kind of like,
I would love to see what it, like, internally, that's got to be a struggle, right? That's like two teams at Twitch that are like, hey, you're killing my ad rates over here. But then the other team's like, hey, we're getting a shit ton of new viewers on the platform by doing this. And they got to be butting heads, right? There's no way that either team is like on the same.
And you have the partner team that is like, but what about all the streamers that are getting screwed? Yeah, shut up, partner team. We don't cares about you anymore.
And then alternatively, you have the partners that got the current streamers in potentially that are also batting heads with the other partner teams, right? So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of crazy.
Isn't Twitch doing that new system where you can pay to like have your stream promoted?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that.
My understanding is because they've never turned a profit with ads. They're now looking at like these like beta things where like streamers can pay like an advertiser to have their stream promoted.
Huh.
Is that what your beta was? The promoted section? That's eventually going to be a purchasable thing?
I have not heard anything about that being purchasable on my front, but I guess it could be. That would be a weird.
You're on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, there's promoted tweets all the time, but that's a slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope.
Very slippery slope.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. I don't necessarily think that would work. That's also a weird thing, right? Because you're essentially, if that were the case, I haven't heard anything about this, so I don't know how real it is. But you would be essentially paying your employer for you to do better, right?
Well, you could see it as an investment.
It'd be advertising at some point.
Arguably,
yeah.
I mean, arguably, if you get enough views on you, as long as you're a decent, entertaining streamer, then more views would equal more income. So it would be like, yeah, I don't know. That would be a very weird situation. Just to be clear, Strippin, you haven't is that a confirmed thing, or is this
very
just
much
like
a
random?
rumor? It's very much a rumor.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would be kind of weird. Yeah.
It would
also
they went
big guys bigger, because I mean that you'd have to put more money into Twitch to get more out of it, and like that would it would be.
It honestly strikes me as an avenue for someone who is successful in another vein
realm
to try out Twitch.
Yeah,
like
JP run the disclaimer.
Like an actor, like an actor using their fame or their fortune to promote their band. They're just trying to get off the ground or whatever.
I mean, we could
switching platforms. Like there's all sorts of reasons where, and I mean, it's they're just like a lot of people are saying in chat. Like you have promoted YouTube videos, you have promoted tweets, you have promoted Instagram stuff. Like it's that word. Looking at it now that Strippin has mentioned it, like that word in particular generally means like
paid.
We are being paid. Even promoted Google searches and promoted Amazon stuff. So yeah, it's probably all the same kind of principle coming to Twitch.
Yeah. Eventually, I could definitely see it going down that road. Zeke, you mentioned people that were successful in other realms. We can kind of use this as like a jumping off point to talk about the recent influx of music, people coming over and kind of celebrity music people coming over, because they are blowing the fuck up on Twitch.
That stream aid shit, dude. That was
even before that,
awesome to watch.
It was very awesome to watch.
Yeah,
but even before
it was
that,
semi-awesome to watch.
What do you mean semi-awesome to watch? Why are you downgrading the awesomeness?
Because I think I watched maybe 50 awesome artists, and I think every single one of them just got cut off halfway through their song and another artist was just put up.
Yeah, I mean, that's how production goes.
Blue balls to the max. I was just like, let him finish the song, please. Maybe this guy will finish the song. This guy.
That's how it goes, I guess. Production has to move on to the next one. But yeah.
Well, the good thing about it that I liked was if you wanted to listen to the rest of their set, you could just go. They were live on Twitch.
They were streaming to their own channels. Yeah.
So I think the communication could have been better by saying like, we're going to have you perform one song, and then after you're done with that song, tell everyone to go to your Twitch channel.
Yeah.
But it hardly ever works like that when you're doing live shit. Like the behind the scenes is like, do we cut him off? Like my personal experience with this was the Kevin Smith thing 2 years ago at TwitchCon.
Yeah.
They were like, wrap it up.
Oh yeah, you got
wrap
time.
It.
Yeah.
Wrap it. I'm like, Kevin's still talking. I'm not. And they're like, wrap it up. And then eventually I had to go like, because other people had to use the stage. So I was like, I had to touch Kevin in the middle of his like half an hour long diatribe and been like, we have to quit, don't we? And I went, yeah. And the crowd was, boo! And I was like,
hey man,
it's not me.
Production times rule. That's how it goes.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, fuck, it sucks, but that's live live performances.
Yeah. I will also say that when it comes to that, the stream aid thing that occurred, those type of events are usually months in planning. And that was definitely not, that was a reaction to the state of the world right now. So that was probably like a week or 2 weeks of actual planning going into that. So knowing what that show looks like behind the scenes and having been, to multiple MLGs and been behind the scenes there, that was a monumental task that occurred over the weekend in terms of how that actually occurred that fast. So huge shout out to whoever who was doing that type of stuff. But yeah, what I was saying is even before the stream aid stuff, you're seeing entertainers and celebrities and all that kind of flock to streaming services. And it's kind of interesting because, what happened to YouTube was the celebrities, as it were, the late night host and talk show host and all that type of stuff, kind of went to YouTube, and YouTube basically gave them the golden ticket to reign free on YouTube and, the top slots. And the featured videos and the trending stuff. I think that's going to happen to Twitch. I mean, it's like the perfect storm right now where you can't go out. People want to watch live music. Artists want to perform.
And create from home.
You can turn on a stream and you're good to go.
And arguably, in a lot of cases, the more candid, the better.
Yeah.
Like, people want to see that stuff from their stars.
Totally.
So and I mean, I was just reading a thing about how like Twitch is getting some amazing numbers because of all this stuff that's coming out. So
yeah,
it really is a perfect storm. It's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
It's not just music too. It's like there's NBA players that have been signed by like esports teams to just create content. They're playing COD. Like, it's just all manner of celebrities coming to Twitch right now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I mean, there's NBA teams that are like showing the rest of their season by playing AI versus AI games in NBA 2K, right? Like they're starting to get creative with that stuff. I mean,
hell, Fox News is showing F1 and racing cars.
That's what I was about to say.
Stuff, and they're getting like real viewers that are loving it and watching it that have never seen this stuff before.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty wild, man.
It's definitely crazy to see that stuff. The innovation that occurs when you're restricted for like the creative mind, I think is the best time for growth because you get to see crazy shit. I just wonder when the dust is settled, so to speak, like what happens to like the rest of Twitch. Like, do these people see that this is a huge successful avenue and double down? And then, you know, the quote little guys or the normal streamer is just like, well, I can't match the budget of like Fox News or insert celebrity here, right? Like there's no way.
But I think it'll work out like cable works out. Like it'll work out like, yeah, there's big the big 3, big 4 channels and stuff. But like there's room for the Sci-Fi Network and Discovery Channel and that kind of shit.
Right, but those are channels. We're talking about a singular person. I think there's a little difference. Though. Yeah.
Like YouTube has a plethora of insanely large celebrities. And when you add it all together, they put like Twitch as a whole to shame. Like just I mean, there's single people on there that have like most of the entire top section of Twitch just as viewers, and there's multiple of those people on YouTube. And there's still plenty of room to get started on YouTube.
That's true.
I mean, it's harder, of course. That kind of stuff will always be harder.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, it's very doable, and there's new people on YouTube every single day, probably by the thousands to tens of thousands. So probably be the same with Twitch.
That's true. It also is.
I ran from YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I think most of us still run from YouTube.
YouTube refugee.
Yeah. The other aspect of that is this morning, for example, I posted a video on my Twitter of Stephen Colbert's been doing shows from his home, but he interviewed Harry Potter kid. What's his name? Daniel Radcliffe. He was interviewing Daniel Radcliffe.
I saw your tweet of that. That was fucking hilarious.
He had straight up tech difficulties where he couldn't hear. They were using Zoom and he couldn't hear Daniel. And they showed all this in the actual show. And so they flat out just had to call Daniel because they had video of him, they didn't have audio. So they used the audio from the call and the video from Zoom. And I'm sitting there like, fucking amateurs. Like, what are you doing? You should be doing X, Y, and Z. It was great. That type of stuff is cool to see them like experiment with Zoom. Like the other aspect of that too, I saw that there's a stock called Zoom. And they had to put hold on the stock because everyone was investing in it because they thought it was the Zoom video call service, but it wasn't because everyone's investing in Zoom because everyone's using Zoom right now. If you go to like any major TV production.
So what is the actual company?
I don't know. I didn't look that aspect up. But I just, people are.
I'm going.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm definitely curious what that is.
Oh God, it's fallen so hard.
Yeah, because people are selling it because they realized it was the wrong one. I'm waiting to see what it is because I think both Strippin and Co are looking into it.
I'm looking at the actual Zoom share, Zoom video communication.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, but there's not just one called Zoom.
Else.
Zoom shares pull back as company sued for personal data breach, and that released today. Oh,
well, that's good.
Yeah,
that might have been why it had a 6.71% drop. Huh.
I like how someone said, like, no, it's the Microsoft Zune.
That's it.
It's making a comeback.
Yeah.
The first time I heard that in 10 years. Nice.
Yeah. Anyways, this whole thing is fascinating to watch from like a production / Twitch standpoint because everyone is going, remote because you can't go out, or you shouldn't be going out in most places. You can't go out in most places. You shouldn't be going out regardless.
Yeah, spring breakers, you dicks.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
I think it's so
cool.
fascinating. It's so fascinating that like what we do in our online space is considered like such a fringe on reality, and now it's like everyone needs it.
Yeah,
everyone wants, like, my whole family. I've been like the black sheep my whole life, and I've got like 14 members of my family, and they've come to me on one knee and been like, teach us how to play games on our phone together with video.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you come to me now when all is bleak.
Man, families in England are weird. You guys should just talk normally to each other. I don't know why.
No, we can't. We're like, yeah, like Mount and Blade, but a real country.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the segue. Let's talk Mount and Blade. I think me and Zeke are pretty far removed from this. Ko, you jumped into it for the first time. Strippin, had you played Mount and Blade at all before? Or is this also your first time?
I played the multiplayer once and couldn't get the hang of it and rage quit. So no, I'm gonna say no.
Okay. My understanding of Mount and Blade, and this is how we'll start this conversation, that it was permanent early access, is how I looked at the first one. It always just looked scuffed. There's multiple words you could use. I'm going to go with scuffed. Tell me how I'm wrong, Ko. Or I hope tell me how I'm wrong. How is Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord going? He's deep in something. He had no idea that I called on him.
He's playing it.
Oh, he's playing it right now. Yeah. What's going on in Bannerlord, Ko? Tell me how I'm wrong. Is it not scuffed, or is it more scuff? Nothing.
That's me or him.
I've said Ko literally 4 times, and you're still waiting for the fucking jumping point, Ko.
Wait, no. I'm sorry.
I've spoken.
I had to turn my speakers way down.
Speak. You talk
in my screen. It looked like you were looking at Strippin, and I had to turn my speakers down because they were reverberating, so I couldn't hear you. Okay, so here's the thing.
I love it when DMCA gets really annoyed.
Yeah, okay. Because Ko's just like,
I gotta get my headphones. I was trying to Strippin, like, why isn't he saying anything?
Speakers down. That's all I just heard. He was like, Strippin was about to speak, so I turned my speakers down.
No, that's not what I said. No.
That's all I just heard from that long-winded excuse. I get it, dude.
God.
Hey, all right, Ko, I need your number. Look, Colbert called people. I gotta give you a call.
I thought he was doing the bit from the Daniel Radcliffe thing. I thought that's what he was doing.
Oh my God.
So many layers.
Okay. So many layers. It's like an onion. All right. So I didn't play the first one, as you mentioned. But I agree with you, actually. I tried it like one time, and the interface was really clunky. People swore up and down it was amazing, that I'd love it, but I couldn't really get into it because, like you said, it was kind of a little bit scuffed. It just seemed a little not super complete. However, now that I've played this one, although it is definitely early access, it definitely has some problems. It is not yet finished. It is really, really cool. I've now played this game for about 15 hours, and I've had an amazing time. Think Chivalry or Mordhau, with a full army sandbox tied around it, with like this big diplomacy system. And there's like this really loose kind of main quest, almost feels like a side quest. But really the whole game is about kind of this giant medieval sandbox. It's about different sides interacting with each other. There's lots of different like types of armies and types of leaders. And there's villages, huge amount of items, a huge skill tree, and different ways to upgrade your character. You've got your army that constantly gets bigger. You've got like small hero characters that you can lead, that you can dispatch in their own armies or make caravans. It's just a giant sandbox experience wrapped around, like I said, a pretty damn decent kind of medieval warfare simulator like Chivalry or Mordhau. A little bit more basic than both of them, but still a lot of fun. So
is everyone's game different? You said sandbox multiple times. Like, do you have the same quest as Strippin? Or is it there's one kind of main quest that I've only done like the first step on, and it's basically just kind of like, this isn't a spoiler. It's basically like you get this thing at the beginning of the game, and you need to go and talk to the different generals of all the different sides in the world to kind of get some backstory on it, and then it kind of moves on. But the real game comes to basically just kind of forging your own path. So pretty much after the first like 20 minutes, everyone's game is going to be very different. Also, all the different sides kind of like have their own AI. So, I was looking at my map, and on my map, my side's not doing super well. And, there's like wars going on in the middle.
and this side on the far side of the map is completely kicking ass. It's taking like a third of the map. I was looking at another streamer, and his around the same time in around the same time in the game as I have, his side was almost eradicated on the far side of the map, where on my map that side was completely dominating. So it's because of the sandbox elements and how many different things can happen. It seems like everyone's game is going to be pretty dramatically different.
Okay.
Give you an example.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ko has a big brain. There's lots of money, a large army, and a castle. We've played for about the same time. Strippin doesn't have much money. He doesn't have a castle, and he has about 30 men in his army. So Strippin's like, I need money. Ko's like, I'm going to get my money by winning a war. Strippin's like, I'm going to find a hot noble girl. I'm going to convince her to marry me. Then I'm going to spend 6 hours trying to find her dad, who is imprisoned in a random jail cell for war crimes. And then I'm going to wait for him to get out. Then I'm going to pay him $500 for his daughter's hand in marriage. Then I married into nobility, and he was an idiot. She had like $300,000 worth of gear on her when I married her. So I'm going to sell all that stuff, and that's how I'm going to make my fortune. So that was, you can see the difference in story there between me and
Forge
Ko.
your own path. Nothing wrong. Like that's
that's successful warlord manhole.
Hey man, it works out in the end. All right, doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like this stuff, I'm just now kind of like starting to learn the tactical side of it, like controlling your army and splitting them into different sections and moving them around the battlefield, and not just like combat F1 F3, which causes every one of your units to charge forward. Which works a lot of times, but it's becoming more and more obvious to me that like the more of these kind of tactics you use and the better that you utilize them, they make a huge impact on the gameplay. Like the game is kind of designed from the ground up to where if you use military tactics properly, your side will do significantly better. But there's a lot of little nuance, and it's a very complex system. So I'm starting to understand more and more when people are like, "Oh yeah, I had 3,000 hours in the original," and it's like, "Oh."
Is it fun complex? Is it the type of complex where you look at it and you think, oh, I want to dive into this and understand it? Or is it the type of complex where you look at this and say, why is this complex?
A little bit of both. The thing is, coming from also being a relatively basic Total War player with Total War Warhammer, like there's a lot of stuff that I had in that game that's not in this game, and it becomes kind of unnecessarily cumbersome. Like for instance, you have this really huge army, right? And you're riding around with this huge army. But every time the battle starts, you have to like redo all of your settings. And that requires like select this group, F1 to select the formation, or F3 to select the formation, F2 for this, select this group, combine that group. Like you have to do that every single round. There's no like meta panel or window that lets you be like, okay, every time I enter a battle, I want it to look like this, and I want these groups to look like this, and stuff like that. So that part feels a little bit unnecessarily complex. I think that if players were good enough, that they could just real quickly do everything super fast. But I think that it's deep enough to when you get good at it, you can be really good at it. But for newer players, especially like myself, there are definitely times when I'm kind of like, this seems a little much for what is the benefit that I'm getting out of it at times.
How much are you being taught by the game? And this is both for you and Strippin. How much are you being taught by the game, and how much are you being taught by chat in terms of how you
Chat
play?
has been incredibly helpful. This is definitely a game where backseat gaming from chat is appreciated, and streamers that encourage it, I think, are really going to be have a nice boon.
Yeah.
A lot of the tactics and stuff are kind of just basic tactics, like put your archers on the high ground, line up your melee guys in front of them, make sure that your flanks are covered. And to the game's credit, there is a really cool system where you can select groups and just hit a F6, and that will like dictate the groups to your AI generals. So then, like one thing that I've been doing a lot lately is I'll put like my all of my cavalry on AI generals, and that'll let me just focus on the movement of my main soldiers and archers, and that way I can kind of get like a good firing line set up and things like that. But even sometimes, like with that, there's some really weird stuff will happen. So like I'll be on two different sides of the battlefield, and I'll set up like this really cool little thing, and I'll be like, okay, F6 for my cavalry, and they'll cover my flanks. And then I hit F6, and all of a sudden I hear like charge, and they like run across the battlefield to the other side and get slaughtered, and I'm just like, not quite what I meant. Sometimes it works great, and they'll like orbit my army, and they'll fill in gaps when they need to. So I'm still, again, this may be a me problem because I am very new to this. But sometimes it definitely, and it could be a bug because it's early access. Like there's a particularly nasty bug where your archers, sometimes you have to hit hold fire and fire again to get them to actually start firing at max range. And I was very confused for a while because my archers would be like standing in front of enemies. I'd be like, pull back your crossbow, like do something, please. They'd be like charging across the battlefield. My archers would just be like, hey, look at that, soldiers. So yeah, it's yeah. There's give take, there's bugs, but all of this said, the system does work. Once you have enough hours into it, I think it will be intuitive enough to use like all the time. And I think that people will be able to get good at it enough to do like amazing things with smaller amounts of people. I had even a few fights today where like utilizing tactics. Like at one point, I think I had a 200 person army and we fought a 350 person army. And I got on the nearby hill and lined up like 70 archers. And sure enough, they just like, you could watch as most of their soldiers would just like fall in rows as they tried to charge my archers. And by the time I actually told my front soldiers to charge them, they were on even footing. And we won the fight. So if I had just done a charge command with that, I probably would have lost the fight. So there's some really, really cool stuff in this game. In that regard.
Besides from just like winning a fight, is there progression in terms of like character stats, in terms of loot? Like how is all that stuff work?
There is a huge amount of progression. There's like 16, 12 different skill groups, and then each of them have you get like a top end amount of XP you can earn in it by dictating points, and then you have to actually use the skills to gain the experience in them. While you're doing that, you can unlock different perks, which a lot of times you have to choose one. There's different weapon groups. There's mounted combat or on foot combat. There's like roguery, charm, leadership. There's different things you can do to like play the whole meta game of owning a castle. When you like, I captured a castle today, which was awesome, and then my side gave it to me. So when that opened up, now I got full control of the castle. So I could then like make a garrison. There's like an entire building system where you can build like granaries and workshops and things of that nature. You have to manage your castle properly. You have a prison in there that you can dump all of your prisoners into. There's a huge diplomatic thing involved in as well. And also the game has quests. So there's like random quests that NPCs will offer you that you can do to gain favor with them. And that allows you to recruit better soldiers from them. It's a really, really deep, big game. This game, once it's kind of like, once the modding community gets a hold of it, and once the devs kind of get most of the bugs out and make it like pretty knocked down, this is going to be one of those games that the right people are, just like the first one, going to be spending thousands and thousands of hours in.
The devs are really smart. They built a huge, cool open world MMO sandbox, and now they're just going to let the modders finish the game. It's what they did with the first one, and they're going to do it with this one. There's already mods that fix bugs in this in the current build. The game's been out like 3 days. People have already made mods that have fixed bugs that they could have fixed themselves. And they're just like, it's fine. We'll just let the modders fix the game. Because people love this franchise so much, they'll just mod it till it's perfect. And I think, I'm calling shots here, but I think they are relying on that. They're going to rely on that pretty heavily because that's what they did with the first game.
Also, but like, just to be clear, even in its current state, like it works pretty damn well. There are bugs for sure. But I mean, there's times when you have a 350 army and you're fighting a 400 army, and like you see it runs beautifully. You see like two armies clash in a field. You're going around with 60 cavalry behind you on your horse. The music is freaking awesome. It'll pick up during high action scenes, and like everything looks good. Everything plays well, and also huge amounts of options too that I wasn't expecting. So like when you encounter an enemy army, you can talk them out. Like there's actually like persuasion commands and charm, and you can use your honor and stuff, and you can talk them over to your side. And then also you can like capture enemy kings and stuff. And I might have executed a couple kings today. Like I might have caught an enemy king, then I brought him back to my castle and I killed him. And then the new king tried to come rescue him, didn't know he was dead, might have killed him too. So like there's interesting things that you can do to kind of shape the world and kind of make it your own playthrough.
Strippin, I know
the fact that he killed a king and I got captured by looters and spent 3 weeks naked, tied up, is the difference in our playthroughs. I just want to point out.
Hey, but what was it fun?
To be fair, I'm safe scumming the hell out of this game too. So
I
mean,
okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah. Strippin, I know you had a corrupt save that occurred on your first character. Was that something that is like a confirmed issue, or is it just a fluke?
it is a fluke. It's happened to like a few people. There's a couple of cases of it, but I mean, the game is early access. They make it very clear. They patched the game and fixed a lot of bugs, and unfortunately, my game save wasn't compatible with that patch. But one of the beauties of this game is the replayability. I immediately started a new game. I chose a different path. I made a different character. I focused on different stats. One of my friends, Craig, and he's doing a character that is a master blacksmith, and he's just doing blacksmithing and trading. And he has like a huge trade caravan, and he goes around. So the combat's like a second thing to him, and he's doing all the other side of it.
Huh.
So there's like, there's 100 different ways to play. Like I said, I went for like marrying nobility. Co went for capturing a castle. You can do whatever you want, and then obviously like
you can be a raider.
Weapon skills. There's the amount of weapons and armor and all that kind of stuff in the game. There's so much like different builds you can try and all that kind of stuff.
And effectively, you can eventually get a castle, right?
Oh, eventually you can get a city.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right.
You can not only get a city, you can become a king of like an entire kingdom. But from what I understand, that's not in the game yet. Apparently, there's a progression you have to go through, and the top end progression of like becoming a side's ruler is, from what I understand, not in quite yet. It is early access. It's also important to mention that the better you do, the more you become a target. So like when I had that castle today, like we had to defend against 4 different huge sieges. Like full out, like they built a battering ram at one point. Like it got pretty nasty a few times. I'm actually pretty surprised we hung on to it at the end of the day, but it can get bad. And that's just for a little castle. A castle is not a town. Like you can't even do everything at a castle.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it gets bad.
All right. Well, you talked me into it. I'll probably grab it today. What was the deal with playing the baby at the start, Strippin? Was that a choice, or does everyone start off as a baby? Strippin,
we don't know if it's a bug or a feature, but apparently, if you hit R during character creation, you can like become this little teensy tiny baby man, and that just persists through the game. So you're literally like
a baby.
Yeah.
You turn into a baby. You lose the ability to customize your character, and then it randomizes your character as you grow up to adulthood, which happens instantly after tutorial. So literally, you're a baby, and then the next day you're a man. But chat forced me to press R, and so I made Clark my daughter, and she was a warlord. And I did something wrong. I think I bought too much butter, and she never got off a horse, and she ended up getting really, really overweight.
What?
Yeah, this is me as Clark, commanding my legions with a giant axe. Wow. Yeah, that was my first save, and I was having a blast.
That looks honestly.
Yeah, I think it's just a goof the mods put, the devs put in. If you hit R on character creator, you actually become a baby, and your character gets randomized, like height, looks, everything. So that was pretty funny.
But you can't stay as a kid. You can't be like the boy
no,
king.
The second you finish the tutorial, you turn into an adult.
Man,
I don't know if you have any gameplay from it, but seeing the baby running around on the battlefield, because you actually like the camera goes down. So you're actually like running around, and everyone else looks like giants, and you're like shooting.
Oh, this is I'm literally like this is a bandit raid right here. So I was like leading my men to raid like a camp of bandits as a baby.
Oh man, that looks really ridiculous and fun.
Like you can't even finish the tutorial because they try and teach you combat, but the guy swings over your head as a baby, so you can't even learn to block or anything. So I had to skip the combat. They really did me dirty.
So you're saying I shouldn't start off with this?
I'm saying you absolutely should start off as a baby.
Okay. All right. Great.
Yeah. Definitely start off as a baby.
That sounds like the fucking quiver. Yeah. The quiver that you have is bigger than you by a significant.
Well, that's the thing. The weapons stay adult size. If you equip a spear, it will be a 6-foot spear as a little baby as well.
Is there like any sort of storyline, or is it just build your castle, PvP, stuff like that, or is there any like
there's just like a very loose main quest that is like collect information, but it is very much like make your own story kind of game.
And I don't think that it's in yet, because what's funny is like and again, this isn't well, sort of a spoiler, I guess, but it's like tutorial information. Basically, there's the main quest Strippin was just talking about. You have to like go collect information for something, and then there's another character in the game who's like, I'm gonna go do this thing. I'll see you in a while. And then he just like disappears forever.
You never see him again.
Yeah, you just disappears.
It's your brother. Your brother's like, I'm gonna go and do this thing. and we'll see each other soon. And I never saw him again. I don't know if you did, Ko. I never saw him again.
No. Well, what's weird is you have a quest that like he gives you, and when the quest completes, it just completes. Like nothing else happens. It goes as a completed quest in your journal, and then it's just done. So I'm assuming it's probably not in the early access. Maybe it could just be that was there to kind of lead you at the very beginning, and maybe it'll pop up later or something. But yeah,
JP, this is me challenging the leader of the bandit camp to a 1v1 as a baby.
Nice.
I like how the camera actually zooms in from your great. That's great.
Who comes from my place of business? I was doing a little baby voice at this time too. I was really into it.
Nice. Is there any voice acting for the dialogue, or is it all text you got to read?
Not really.
Is it important to read, or is it just like, I'm a villager and I'm going to kill you. Do you want to fight me? Yes, no. Like,
there is a lot of lore. If people like that stuff, like there is a lot of like actual lore in the game, but no, you can just kind of like next by it. Even the quests are generally flavor text. So you can just like, oh, I want to defend you. Next. Okay, cool. I'm doing the quest now. Like there's not a
Interesting. All right. Well,
there's even a few where it's like literally brackets and it's like insert generic character bio here. So
oh geez. Okay.
This is me running and screaming at this point because I didn't want to fight him.
Jesus, that just looks so stupid. Well, the game's obviously successful. It has, granted, we're 4 months in, well, really 3, into 2020, but it's been the biggest release on Steam thus far. And I think they had like 100 and, at least the stat that I saw was like 180,000 or something like that, people playing concurrent on Steam, which is
doing really, really well. The devs are ecstatic.
Yeah. And it seems to also be doing pretty well on Twitch. I've seen a lot of people pulling much higher numbers than the norm, kind of across the board, not just kind of for the top people, but just across the board. A lot of people seem to be watching it. So it'll be interesting.
The RNG element makes it really easy to digest as like a viewer.
Yeah. So cool.
He just looks, I love the guy's look. He looks incredulous. He's just like, am I going to fight this baby?
It is the type of game, Zeke, after watching the 5 or 10 minutes I have of streams, I think if you played this, you would definitely get into like the RP aspect and doing voices and whatnot and have fun with it in that regard. Yeah, I could totally see that.
Real quick before we continue, I have no experience in it. Strippin, did you try the multiplayer?
Yes.
It's got a multiplayer. Okay.
Yeah, it's
60
fun.
on 60 multiplayer.
Yeah, there's a couple of basic game modes. There's Captain, there's like a death match, and then there's a siege game mode where one group of players defends a castle and the other group of players has to siege the castle, which was really fun. I enjoyed that. There's not a lot to it. It's very much just like those game modes. You play and then you re-queue. There's not really a progression system in place yet or anything. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's cool. You basically build up points by getting kills, and that lets you purchase a better unit to play with. So the better you do, it kind of there's like a snowball effect. If you're like me, you just stay as a peasant the whole time because you just keep getting killed and you're in the negative.
Yeah, how many chivalry experts are playing the multiplayer that just make it not fun for everyone else?
It's not even chivalry experts. It's literally like 5,000. Like Ko said, it's like 5,000 hour Mount and Blade pros. Just like 360 killing 9 people at once.
Did the first game have multiplayer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that. Yeah, it's probably the legacy players that are just out there destroying everyone. Is there any crossover from multiplayer to single player? Like, can you take your single player hero into multiplayer or anything? Okay.
No, completely separate.
Hero crossover.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Single player's where it's at, I think.
Yeah. I'm watching. What's your family name here? So we don't leave people in suspense. What'd you type in?
Oh, they made me type in my own name because I was Clark. But this is my brother, and he's saying I should pick a family name. So I'm a baby, and my brother's like 47. Because you're not supposed to be a baby. And he's asking me what my family name is.
Nice. That looks so stupid.
Look at the shield. I think I was going, here, where's the baby? And I was just joking, yeah.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous. All right, well, I'll check it out. I'm sold, so to speak, on it. We'll see how it goes. We got about.
You could literally have the It Me Nation. Like you could. It writes
with a flag.
Can you import your own logos here or no? You have to use stock.
Not
logos?
that I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, you may be able to like.
Sorry, someone just really came out with a mod that is an advanced banner editor, so it gives you way more choices and stuff.
Oh.
You can just mod it up.
Huh. I wonder if you could just put in a like image file of your streamer logo, and
I think you can,
dude. I swear to God, JP, if you make a whole nation of itmeJP,
that's what I'm kind of thinking. That's that might be the play. You know, we'll go raid Zekonia.
that I'll never play it.
Yeah, Zeke's gonna be playing in the nation of itmeJP. Happy rises up, and I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'll just alt F4. Somehow, like, burn the disc to a burn it to a CD and burn the disc because he's so upset at it. I can see Zeke going through that.
Just people like waving like the flag, and they're sitting there like, bend the knee, never kill me first.
Just have someone make a drop frames mod where the 3 of you are kings and you each have a flag and it replaces one in game.
I'd be into it.
Good times.
I'd be into it.
I'd be in.
Yeah. It'd be good. We got Zekonia. What? Oh, the coalition. Yeah. And then it'd be nation. With the itmeJP. Yeah, it'd work. We should do it. We should do it. How much is the game? What are we talking here in terms of price?
It is 60.
60.
So it is
really?
I believe it is a full price game.
Interesting.
Now, when it is early access, and I do think that there is a very good argument that once it is a complete game, it's 50. I'm sorry, 50.
Okay.
Thank you, chat. But it's on sale apparently. But I will say this that if you enjoy, oh man, now people are saying 45. The price keeps going down. What's going on? Okay,
it's on sale, $5 off right now on Steam. Yeah,
there you go. So once this game comes out, like once it's out of early access and the bugs and stuff are worked out, I think it will be worth every single penny to the people who play. Like there's the sandbox is one of the better developed I've seen like ever. So if you can get into that, you're gonna have a lot of. It's kind of like RimWorld almost. You're gonna have a lot of time in this game. If you can get into the gameplay loop.
Yeah, we didn't talk.
If you're looking at like time played versus cost, like you will put hundreds of hours into this game, having a good time.
Sure. We didn't necessarily get into it, but control wise, is it fine? Like, does everything make sense, or is it a process in learning that on top of the actual sandbox elements as well?
I'd say it worked pretty well. The giving commands is a little bit weird because it's all from your perspective.
Yeah,
that can get a little clunky, but the actual like melee combat was fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's
there's a lot of stuff that isn't explained, but Mount and Blade players from the original game can explain them to you. Stuff like trading. For example, furs will be really cheap in the north, but really expensive in the south. You can like buy furs, carry them south, and then like the price point of the fur will be red if it's expensive in that place, green if it's a good sell. And so like there's a bunch of like hidden in-depth stuff that is never explained, and you just have to kind of stumble through it.
Gotcha.
I think honestly, like the game maybe taught me 1%, and chat taught me 99%.
Yeah.
This game.
And one other thing that's very surprising is there is a very basic tutorial on like different weapon types and mounted combat and stuff like that. And it does teach you like the basic of the basics. There doesn't seem to be any tutorial about how to lead an army, how to position people. Like you press the F1 keys and you just notice like UIs pop up that you haven't seen before, which is one of the reasons I like completely ignored them for most of the first part of the game. I just F1, F3, like make everyone go forward and I'll just go around and do my own thing. And it's really unfortunate because once you actually start looking into that system, it's incredibly powerful. Being able to like position people and dictate how they are. And like just as easy as having your front line, you select 1 to select your melee soldiers, hit F3 to bring up formations, and then F2 to do shield wall. And all of a sudden, every one of your shield users is now blocking arrows and not dying to a hail of arrows. And it's like, just that one little key command can save you so many lives.
Yeah.
And the game never really tells you about any of this stuff. So I'm really hoping that as they move through EA, they come up with a very solid tutorial that kind of, maybe even if it's optional, that allows you to kind of really get that system down.
Sure.
Because yeah, it's a really cool system that they need to shine a bit more of a spotlight on.
Definitely a perk of streaming the game. And also, I think that is why the viewership for the game is so high, because when I look at my chat, they're teaching each other how to play the game. They're sharing this information to me and to each other.
Sure.
So like, it's kind of the only way to learn. I think if I wasn't streaming, I would have to be in, Ko's chat or someone's chat to learn how to play the game, because there's nowhere else to get the information. But I just linked Ko a really cool mod that changes the army tactics to voice activation. You don't have to do the F1, F2 stuff. You just yell into the mic and the army does it. So I'm going to try and set that up and do that, because my brain can't handle the F1, 2, 3 keys.
Yeah.
And
like being able to say
when you
like
no, go.
Oh, I was just going to say, like being able to say, like, Parker, follow me. Oh my God, are you doing this on purpose?
I think he is. I think there's a little bit. Here's the biggest issue is I think I'm trying something new with this program to eliminate video and audio latency. I think Strippin's a little bit slower on the call than the rest of us. Yeah, so we're all at like 120 ms audio. He's at 280. So he's got a much longer delay from when we finish talking than us. So yeah, that's why there's a lot of crosstalk. But
sorry.
No, that's my fault, not yours.
Needless to say,
yeah,
it's an awesome mod. Like I'm definitely going to be following up the link that Strippin gave, and being able to just all frontliners charge or all soldiers charge, cavalry go over this way. Like if you can actually set like even just being able to say like frontline soldier shield wall, that would be huge. Being able to do that quickly, and then you could focus on the combat too, which gets really intense sometimes. So it's good stuff.
Cool. I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say I can't wait to thank Mr. Retreat 27 for his 6-month sub and have my army retreat on me mid-fight. That's what that's going to be my life.
Yeah, there's got to be some way to like open the mic to the game, unless it's just free talk. Then we're just screwed as streamers. So, that's gonna. People are going to sub with like commands. So if you have text to speech where it just is like, "Kill yourself, army," and then everyone stabs themselves and you just die. So you got to be careful with that.
I have a question for you two.
Nexus mods.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Gotcha. Nexus mods where you get all this stuff. Go ahead.
You guys have played Half-Life, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think we'll take a break. We talked about it in depth. Zeke's also played it as well. But he had a little bit different experience with it, I think, which I'm very interested in talking about so that people know kind of the difference, because he was using some different hardware. But we're due a break. I also finished Neo 2. Co also finished Neo 2. And you'll be surprised to hear what I have to say about it after the break.
Oh, no.
Because I've changed my tune a little bit. But we'll do that with more stuff. Because Zeke's been playing stuff as well. We got to catch up with him. We'll do all that and more.
I finished Dory 2 as well.
What?
I finished Dory 2.
Oh, right. Yeah, we can finally talk about Ori. That's right. Okay, cool. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll have more drop frames right after this. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a bit.